Said I got no dope for ox. You gotta tell Keith what's up with me, dog. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna see you, alright? Alright? Rains? Get wet. Bro? Dog, you're the only one I got in my corner, man. Don't cross. Got you.
I told my dog he ever cross me, never cross. We let that rain hit him. Any nigga play with this shit, he feel that pain, nigga. Locked out on that nigga, up that flame, me with a change, nigga. I saw my guys out box, swap, switching lanes, and then walk inside this bitch, my chin up, nigga. I won't tuck my chains. I know I'ma take the winning shot of this bitch for the game. Oh my God, I put a box and they don't shoot the same. Some niggas, if they fuck around, they ever saw my name.
Shake.
The fuck you niggas thought, man? I beat Debbie, yo, Al 180, good looking. Y'all niggas ain't low, man. About to drop some heat. Y'all niggas been praying on a lot of shit. Y'all looking like predators, no game shit. I got the remedy for it. They don't really want to see you with some real motion. So I focus on this paper, yeah, it's still growing. Heavy gas getting swirled, yeah, we still smoking. The hate real, but the love about to overthrow it. Holo got the packs out in Bridgeport, about to run it up. Bag after bag, get money. What you showing us? Casino, get casinos. I'm about to cop a Rover truck. All I see is money, haters sick. See them throwing up. Ew. What we doing is the lingo, watch me blow it up. We doing telling labels we ain't signing for the little bucks. Staying clear of snakes and elite shit's clear. About to take a trip, probably hit a few beaches. Drop a couple K's on a couple fits. Another 2,500 on a couple kicks. Italian chick rolling spliffs in a foreign whip. And she keep the shit clean, so immaculate. Clean, bitch. No games in here, man. Yo, Al 180, man, we about to spin this shit. Yo, Cino, get that shit right. Yo, Polo, man, we coming through, B. Yo, Freaky. Yo, what's the word? What's the verdict? You know what it is. It's your boys, No Game Records. Smoke and mirrors when you tired of being gas. All personal opinions, views, and comments are protected by the Fair Act use and the freedom of speech. Because anything that's a public matter deserves public criticism of if it's public interest. You feel me? Salute to everybody, all my 1.9 thousand plus subscribers. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, because we about to get into building on some real shit. The captions. Trump out here bugging. And I don't know if he bugging. Everybody had their own views, but he got ICE going absolutely full throttle all over the United States. They just hit Boston and they hit Chicago. They inside Chicago, even though Chicago didn't want none of them out there. So everybody beware what's taking place. You know, I gotta take time out to, hit my people and let them know what's going on. Making sure everything's everything. Everybody tapped in, yo. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let everybody know where you're coming from. We're going to get right into this. You feel me? We're not going to waste no more time with this. We're going to get right into this. And then we're going to have some dialogue with this. You know what I'm saying? We're going to start in Boston. We're going to go to Boston real quick.
Cyber threats don't keep.
We're going to make sure we in Boston real quick so everybody knows what's going on.
The Enforcement Administration says a week-long cartel crackdown led to nearly 200 arrests just in New England. The DEA says they were all members of the Sinaloa cartel, the largest drug cartel in the world.
You know about the Sinaloa cartel. That's the cartel El Chapo was the numero primero in that. And from what we getting right now is that they had a lot of things going on in Massachusetts, Boston to be exact. And Boston has a crime rate that's out of this world right now. My family used to live in Pittsfield, and it's unbelievable out there. We're going to continue to get in this dialogue.
DEA says it's cracking down on a major drug syndicate at work in New England, the Sinaloa cartel. In the last week, agents arrested more than 171 people in New England. The DEA seized 500 plus pounds pounds of methamphetamine, cocaine, and fentanyl.
500 pounds. 500 pounds was in Boston. It came from the Sinaloa cartel. Now, that's a cartel that's out in Mexico. It got all the way to Boston. You know it's real. This ain't none of that other shit that, people be investing their time into. This is real life facts.
America just witnessed one of the biggest blows to the Mexican cartels in recent years. And it didn't happen on the border. It happened in New England. Federal agents seized over 500 pounds of deadly drugs, arrested 171 members of the Sinaloa cartel, and uncovered a disturbing digital network that was targeting kids through social media apps.
Uber, right, Lyft, could be FedEx, could be US Mail. One pill directly to your front door, all done, couple taps on your phone.
This was not small-time street dealing. These were high-level cartel members operating in American communities.
It led to 171 cartel member arrests. These are high-level arrests, not low-level retail distribution.
Let's break it down the massive DEA operation that struck the Sinaloa cartel in Boston's backyard. The Sinaloa cartel is known worldwide as one of the most powerful drug trafficking organizations. But this time, their reach into America's heartland faced a crushing setback. The DEA, working with federal, state, and local partners, coordinated a week-long crackdown across Massachusetts, Connecticut, and New Hampshire. The results were staggering. 171 arrests, more than 500 pounds of fentanyl, meth, and cocaine seized, and over 22,000 counterfeit pills pulled from circulation. What makes this so significant?
They getting the dope in the towns, man. They shipping it out, and everybody want to be cool. Everybody want to be that type of person, that dealer. Everybody want to be looked at as the person that got the money. But it's costing a lot of people their freedom and their lives. This shit is really getting out of hand.
Is not just the size of the bust, but the type of arrest. These were not low-level retail dealers. They were high-level operatives embedded in cartel networks. The DEA made it clear the target was not just the street sellers, but the infrastructure of the Sinaloa cartel itself. This operation dismantled supply chains that were poisoning communities across New England. Breaking it down by state, Massachusetts saw 49 arrests, with Lawrence identified as the cartel's main hub in the region. Connecticut had the largest number with 64 arrests.
Right here in Connecticut. A lot of shit going on up north. A lot, man.
And New Hampshire followed with 33 arrests, including a major Franklin bust. All three states were heavily affected, showing just how deep the cartel's influence had grown. Lawrence, Massachusetts, emerged as the epicenter of the cartel's new...
171. See, while everybody's overlooking situations and not paying attention, that shit's coming right into the town. It's coming right into the town, and y'all goofy niggas want to keep pushing it. Shit is crazy. 171 people got booked on that. Playing around. And now, y'all gonna listen to how it's going down in Chicago. Chicago's different. There's a lot of murders, a lot of gang politics, and a lot of illegal immigrants in Chicago.
Back to releasing illegal aliens, public safety threats every day.
Get right into this.
And look, the president was clear on that 2 months ago. He said it's going to prioritize enforcement in sanctuary cities, and we talked about that before. Why? Because we know we have a problem with sanctuary cities. We know for a fact they're releasing illegal aliens, public safety threats every day. So, like I said before, we don't have that problem in Florida, right? Where every sheriff and chief works with us. So we're going to send additional assets. Sanctuary cities where we know there's a problem. And despite what Mayor Wu says, I got the data to back it up. We know how many criminal aliens are being released there. Look at
the government saying that they knowing the same sanctuary towns that been around since this country's beginning and developed as this country moved along. They're starting to attack spots where they know they will have a hard time. Sanctuary cities go against the government and exercise the Constitution of the United States. That's why Trump is hitting these certain spots.
Number of child predators were arrested, not just Boston, but the outlying communities in Massachusetts. I mean, I spoke at the CPAC conference and I said, I just got done reading a total of 9 child predators released to the streets. So, we have the data. They are a sanctuary city. That state's a sanctuary state. I know Governor Healy made a statement, why am I so infatuated with Massachusetts? I'm infatuated with every sanctuary city. We're going to send resources there. We're going to, if they don't want to help us, to get out of the way, we'll make your city safer for you.
You heard it. They don't care what nobody say. Trump got everybody in that government on bullshit timing. So if you know anybody that's in this country illegally, you better tell them to get low. But if you look at it, everybody's illegal. If you ain't born here, your birth certificate doesn't say United States, I'm not saying it to be foul. I'm just telling y'all the truth. I got the Italian icy, the old school shit, fucking this up. These shits be dumb good back in the days, especially when you got the little bullshit stick. No freaky, right? See, I break the ice cream up. I break this shit. I don't be stabbing this shit, you heard? They bugging out here in the United States, yo. Where's the mother?
Trump said he's waiting for a call from Chicago. Does that mean he's waiting for local leaders to call him before sending in National Guard troops?
They've had plenty of chances to call. We're going to go ahead and do Operation Sanctuary City. I think the president's referring to it. I'm not familiar with that, but I think he wants to talk about what more can we do to make this more efficient and more meaningful. But if, again, they don't want to come to the table and work with us, we're going to do it anyway. If they want to sit there and watch us make their city safer, then go ahead and watch.
The operation you're talking right now is about immigration. What about
the operation? No. The operation we're talking about right now is immigration, but we're still prioritizing public safety threats and national security threats. But I made this clear from the beginning. In Sanctuary City, if we can't get the bad guy into jail because they release him to the street, we're going to go to the street. We're going to find him. If he's with others, may not be a criminal threat, but they're illegally in the United States, they're coming too. I made that clear for months.
Tom, your reaction to the Supreme Court's decision today.
Great decision. Great decision.
Great decision. So how will that affect your operations?
We'll continue doing the operations the way we've been doing them. I mean, I said from day one, I think the ICE officers, Board of Relations, doing the right thing.
They just running down on anybody. He said he don't care. His name is Tom Homan. He's the border czar. He said he don't care. That's one thing that you can say, though. He was telling the world for months. Trump was telling you a part of his campaign when he was running for president. Trump been told y'all what he was going to do if he won. Why y'all upset now? I mean, how many of these people that's going against him right now voted for him? Huh? I'm not getting into politics, but the man said he was going to clean up the country. I don't know what he meant by it, but he's doing it with the immigration first. I don't know what's coming next.
You know, ICE officers every 6 months get Fourth Amendment refresher training. Every 6 months, so they know, the law around Fourth Amendment. Who can they arrest? Where they need to arrest? Where they need to seize? Where they need to detain for questioning? They get training all the time. And I said from day one, the judge who made that first ruling and stopped it I don't know how she gets in the officers' heads. How does she know if the officer gathered reasonable suspicion? She don't know that. The officer does that. And despite what the media said, mischaracterized me, or said, well, you can, reasonable suspicion can be based on looks alone. I never said that. I said looks are one of many factors you have to consider. It's a multitude of factors to establish reasonable suspicion.
This man just told y'all they don't need no real reason. They don't need no real reason. ICE, this is. They don't need no real reason to run down on anybody who looks like an immigrant. You could be a Spanish person, black, any type of foreign nationality, and you became American, right? Through their ways and laws. And even that's another form of racial profiling. They talking about immigrants. There's a lot of Caucasian immigrants walking around that don't have visas, that's in this country illegally, that ICE ain't running down on. You see how it becomes a race thing, because what they do, they automatically assume that every person of Latin descent is an immigrant. Every person of Haitian descent, Jamaican descent, you see it goes with colors. But there's a lot of Irish, Polish, Russian people all over New York State. Some of them ain't here legally. Some of them are here illegally. Because you got people in jail that's from different countries that ain't here legally. There's no deportation process for that. It's sad to say that the United States is looking a little bit racist. Looking a little bit selective. I was downtown a whole lot. I'd be downtown lower Manhattan, 28th, 30th. Then I come uptown, there's mad people, Caucasian people, speaking different languages walking through the town. There's mad Asian people. This might offend some people, but I've got to be honest. Every Jewish person that's in the United States is not here legally. I guarantee it. So while they strongly emphasizing immigration laws and all that, they need to do research on a lot of Caucasians they allowed in this country from different countries. Some people paid their way through on temporary visas, and the visas been expired. If you're gonna be one way, be that way all the time. Why there isn't no talk about the Russians and the Polish people and the Swedish people and the Scottish people and why ain't no talk about that? Why ain't no talk about that? Why ain't no talk about, Asian people or Polish people? Why ain't no talk? Why nobody want to talk about that?
But if an illegal alien has an MS-13 tattoo on his head, that's certainly going to be one of the factors that we consider when we add a bunch of factors together.
I'm an American citizen, right? And if I walk around with let's just say, if I walk around with an MS-13 tattoo on my head and my face, does that make me an immigrant?
It's a culmination of factors, not one factor, different factors.
And to Salina's point, I think what she was perhaps getting at one point the president was saying that we're going into Chicago. Last week you said he was waiting for the call from Chicago. Now you're saying we're definitely going in? Can you clarify that?
We're in Chicago. We've been in Chicago from day one. We've increased resources in Chicago. As far as a massive operation, we'll see what happens. But right now, we're in Chicago.
The Supreme Court today said that apparent ethnicity is a relevant factor for reasonable suspicion for immigration detention stops. Is racial profiling justified?
There's no racial profiling.
Are you?
He just said there is no racial profiling when he just said maybe about 2 minutes before that. There's more factors besides looks and all of that, but he didn't give no other factors. He just said if a guy's walking around with a Spanish guy walking around with MS-13 on his face, that's a factor that can give us suspicion, to raise suspicion that he might be an immigrant. But that's racial profiling. That's a hypocrite's talk right there, man. We're going to go back and let y'all listen to everything. Listen closely to what Czar Tom Homan is saying about this immigration shit. This shit is ridiculous, bro. It's crazy.
And look, the president was clear on that 2 months ago. He said it's going to prioritize enforcement in sanctuary cities, and we talked about that before. Why? Because we know we have a problem in sanctuary cities. We know for a fact they're releasing illegal aliens, public safety threats every day. So, like I said before, we don't have that problem in Florida, right? Where every sheriff and chief works with us. So we're going to send additional assets. Sanctuary cities where we know there's a problem. And despite what Mayor Wu says, I got the data.
He said that real sarcastic. He said Florida's in on it too because Florida's a Republican state and they love Trump. And ain't Trump's hideouts and headquarters out there? Don't he got a spot out there? Where's Mar-a-Lago at? Ain't that in somewhere off of Florida's coast? This is crazy.
Back it up. We know how many criminal aliens are being released there. Look at the number of child predators we arrested, not just Boston, but the outlying communities in Massachusetts. I mean, when I spoke at the CPAC conference, and I said, I just got done reading a total of 9 child predators released to the streets. So, we have the data. They are a sanctuary city. That state's a sanctuary state. I know Governor Healy made a statement, why am I so infatuated with Massachusetts? I'm infatuated with every sanctuary city. We're going to send resources there. We're going to, if they don't want to help us, to get out of the way, and we'll make your city safer.
But today, President Trump said he's waiting for a call from Chicago.
It's a government takeover. He just basically said, if y'all don't want to make your city safe, get out the way. We're coming through, regardless of how the fuck y'all feel about it. The feds, the United States has just become a federal country. This going on, the feds already overseeing and taking over people's cases and all that. They stepping in and just taking over people's shit. But this is complete United States federal takeover.
Does that mean he's waiting for local leaders to call him before sending in National Guard troops?
They've had plenty of chances to call. We're going to go ahead and do Operation Sanctuary City. I think
he said they had plenty of chances. We're going to go ahead and do our thing. He said, fuck what everybody's saying. We done gave them enough opportunities. Tonight's show sponsored by my apparel, Stack Chicken, Fear No One Apparel, you feel me? Yeah, they bugging Trump.
The president's referring to it. I'm not familiar with that, but I think he wants to talk about what more can we do to make this more efficient and more meaningful. But if they don't want to come to the table and work with us, we're going to do it anyway. If they want to sit there and watch us make their city safer, then go ahead and watch.
The operation you're talking right now is about immigration. What about
the operation? The operation we're talking about now is immigration, but we're still prioritizing public safety threats and national security threats. But I made this clear from the beginning. In Sanctuary City, if we can't get the bad guy into jail because they release him to the street, we're going to go to the street. We're going to find him. If he's with others, may not be a criminal threat, but they're illegally in the United States, they're coming too. I made that clear for months.
Tom, your reaction to the Supreme Court court's decision today?
Great decision. Great decision.
Great decision. So how will that affect your operations?
We'll continue doing the operations the way we've been doing them. I mean, I said from day one, I think the ICE officers, Board of Relations, doing the right thing. Do you know ICE officers every 6 months get Fourth Amendment refresher training? Every 6 months, so they know, the law around Fourth Amendment. Who can they arrest? Where they need to arrest? Where they need to seize? Where they need to detain for questioning? They get training all the time. And I said from day one, the judge who made that first ruling and stopped it, I don't know how she gets in the officers' heads.
I don't know how he could state that, because regardless of the training that they so-called receive, allegedly, they don't exercise it. And he's backing up a program that really don't emphasize that they use their training. A lot of cops are out here just killing people. A lot of people are getting kidnapped because these law officers are feeling like they can be above the law. And sometimes they be acting like it. And then sometimes things be happening.
How does she know if the officer gathered reasonable suspicion? She don't know that. The officer does that. And despite what the media said, mischaracterized me or said, well, reasonable suspicion can be based on looks alone. I never said that. I said looks are one of many factors you have to consider. It's a multitude of factors.
He said looks are one of the many factors. There are multitude factors that raise suspicion.
To establish reasonable suspicion. But if an illegal alien has an MS-13 tattoo on his head, that's certainly going to be one of the factors that we consider when we add a bunch of factors.
He made sure he emphasized the legal alien having an MS-13 on his face and on his head. That's a reasonable sign for you to raise suspicion. Like I said, I could walk in these streets with an MS-13 tat on my face, and I'm a born citizen. What you gonna do, try and deport me for some bullshit? I might just do that. I don't know. I might just do that just to fuck with him. He didn't give no other reasons except for
to establish reasonable suspicition.
He didn't give no other.
Looks alone. I never said that. I said
he didn't even give no reasons. He said looks. He said looks is one of the contributing factors for them to raise suspicion, and then he don't give no other reasons. So you racially profiling, and then you say looks. Then you jump off and say, well, if a Latin man's walking around with an MS-13 on his head, that's another contributing factor that gives us reason to raise suspicion, and we're going to stop him, and we're going to detain him, and we're going to find out if he's supposed to be in this country or not. And what if he is? Now all y'all get a lawsuit. So all my people that's born citizens, born Americans of Latino, Mexican, Puerto Rican, Haitian, African descent, if y'all born here in these states, walk around freely, walk around with your pride colors on, walk around. I mean, John Tent, I know what you mean, but at the end of the day, it's all based off of racial profiling. Where are you from, John Tent? It's all based off of racial profiling. There's a lot of Caucasian. It's too late. You can't take it back. There's a lot of Caucasians that's walking around this country that's here on temporary visas. They're here on visas. They're not legal citizens. So they're temporary. They're immigrants. They're temporary aliens. They come over as long as they could come over here and work and give up money to this country. They good, right? It don't matter if they from a different country. As long as they come here, that's what this government is basically saying. As long as y'all come here, abide by the rules, go through this, go through that, work and pay this country the taxes you're supposed to pay them, we're not going to consider you illegal. But soon as you come over here on a visa, we're going to get the criminals first. So more than likely, we're going to go to the jails. And if we're in the streets and we just happen to run by some people walking in the street and they have Latin, Mexican, Haitian, African, whatever, Venezuelan, whatever country they from, if they look like they from that country, because he just said looks. So he's basing everything off of looks. That's racial profiling.
Looks are one of many factors you have to consider. It's a multitude of factors to establish reasonable suspicion. But if an illegal alien has an MS-13 tattoo on his head, that's certainly going to be one of the factors that we consider when we add a bunch of factors together. It's a culmination of factors, not one factor, different factors.
He didn't give up none. He just rambled on, and he made sure he stated that the look, and if he has an MS-13 on his head. So that tells you that they're targeting MS-13 without question. I ain't go front. MS-13 came to this country, it spread, and went crazy out here. It became crazy to a point where, boy, they swept through Long Island. From what I understand, Long Island was one of the mother hubs of the MS-13 movement in the United States. They went through there and so-called swept majority of that out.
And to Selena's point, I think what she was perhaps getting at one point, the president was saying that we're going into Chicago. Last week he said he was waiting to call to Chicago. Now you're saying we're definitely going in? Can you clarify that?
We're in Chicago. We've been in Chicago from day one. We've increased resources in Chicago. As far as a massive operation, we'll see what happens. But right now, we're in Chicago.
Heard that. This was 3 hours ago. 3 hours ago, he stated that they're in Chicago. So, to the people of Chicago, get low. They coming door to door. If they got addresses and you live in them spots, get to a friend's crib. Live out their house. Do what you got to do. But don't get caught out in the streets of Chicago. They putting Chicago on curfew. All you gangsters out there, you're out there spinning blocks and doing all that. Be careful, they out there.
The Supreme Court today said that apparent ethnicity is a relevant factor for reasonable suspicion for immigration detention stops. Is racial profiling justified?
There's no racial profiling.
Are you encouraging?
This man just said there ain't no racial profiling, but the only thing he said is based on looks and if he got an MS-13 sign on his head.
Agents to racially profile individuals in this country as part of their immigration.
Of course I'm not. It's illegal. We're not racial profiling anybody. I just
You're
said
not using race. You're not using race to justify.
I just said we have to establish reasonable suspicion. That's the legal framework.
So can you clarify what that looks like?
There's a myriad of factors. For instance, they say, well, ICE officers jumping out of vans in Home Depot. Were they there during the surveillance? Were they there when they were copping license plate numbers? Who's dropping them off and where they're going? Were they there when they're pulling intelligence reports on some of these employers? Were they there when they're running NCIC and AAA on these people? Were they there when they're listening to wires? Were they there during any investigation? No, but they seen the culmination of this. They said, well, where's the reasonable suspicion? I trust the professionals of the Board of Children Rights, all very well trained, to make sure they establish reasonable suspicion to briefly detain and question somebody, and the Supreme Court agreed with me.
On the Georgia raid, can you detail some of the allegations involved there? Were the workers there overstaying essentially B1 visas? Can you tell us anything more about what?
I'm not in the weeds on it. All I can tell you, I promise you from day one, we're going to increase worksite enforcement operations. That's exactly what we're doing.
Just to be crystal clear, Tom, when is the National Guard going into Chicago and Boston?
I didn't say they were. There'll be a decision that's made amongst those in that building, and we certainly probably won't give you a heads up it's happening. It's all these people need to understand this is dangerous stuff we're doing, and we're not going to give in broadcast what we're doing. But National Guard is always on the table. They helped us, immensely in D.C. They helped us immensely in Los Angeles. So they're always on the table. And as far as National Guard, they've helped every administration that I've been around since Ronald Reagan. They've helped every administration, whether it's mostly on the border. But, a lot of 287G, a lot of National Guard have been given 287G training, have 287G ability. But National Guard are always on the table. That's the president's call.
Is the president...
In Cali, swept through Cali, swept through D.C., they in Chicago, swept through New York, hit Massachusetts. ICE is all over the place. Trump pushed the button on the whole country. You don't know where they gonna land, but they out here and they moving around and they snatching people up. So if you got loved ones out there, make sure they secure, make sure they safe. Y'all do the righteous thing. Stay sucker free. Most importantly, stack chicken. Till next time, y'all.